Hi guys, Jared here at Day Traders FX. I hope you guys are having a great week. A couple of things to look at here. As far as some good setups go, we've definitely got some. Let's talk about what they are. First of all, U.S. markets have had a pretty good little move today. You can see the S&P and Dow are both up about 1.5%, so pretty nice little day there. Oil's up, gold's back down, starting to sneak into those lows once again. Lots of volatility. Things are swinging up and down and kind of all over the place. So it's going to be an interesting next couple of days, especially as we get deep into June, which is really the big month where summer trading takes over. So we saw a little bit of news this morning. Retail sales and unemployment claims, everything came out at least as good as expected, if not better than expected. And so that was pretty good on the news front. Coming up tomorrow, we don't have anything major for the U.S. or excuse me, UK sessions. Or Asian sessions tonight. And then tomorrow we have the PPI, University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, and manufacturing sales for Canada. So a little bit of news out tomorrow, nothing too major. Okay, so euro dollar is kind of all over the place. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. It was up, it was down, it was up. You can see the swings have been pretty, up and down 80 pips or so. Still not much I want to do with this euro dollar just yet. I'm looking at a couple of things and no particular price patterns really popping out just yet. Definitely a nice double bottom here, and it's running, it's breaking highs and doing all that good stuff, but I'm still just kind of holding on this one just a little bit. It's running up the channel nicely, and it's not really testing the upper or lower portions of the channel. We still have a missed weekly pivot point down here, which will at some point start to drag the pair down. And until some of that starts to happen, I'm just kind of sitting out the euro dollar for the moment. Pound dollar. So we looked at this pound dollar in an opportunity to potentially trade it against this high with some breaks and some Fibonacci help, and it's just kind of been spiking around, and it's still not really getting much higher. It's not getting lower, and it's just kind of getting a little bit consolidated. Remember, on the pound dollar, we have a missed weekly pivot, we have a missed daily pivot from yesterday, and we have a missed daily pivot from Thursday as well. So there's a lot of lower targets that should start dragging this down. For the moment, I don't think I'm buying into this pound dollar move up. I'm going to let this run up just a little bit more and start looking for opportunities to short the pair, because I want to start shooting for these lower targets, missed weekly pivot, missed daily pivots, and it'll come back to them. It might be a couple of days. It could be all the way into next week, even the week after. But that's kind of what I'm waiting for at the moment, is just to reach these lower targets on both euro dollar and pound dollar. So not doing too much on those just yet. The Aussie dollar has been a little bit of a frustrating / disappointing one, because it's running higher, but it just never gives us quite a bit or quite enough of retracement. It's missed a few entries of ours by just a couple of pips already, and it's continued to make some runs, and it's continuing to spike up there. The rally is still very good from this reversal candle off of that 2011 low. Everything's looking good. The one thing that I am really liking, that you can see on the daily chart, is if we go from the high of April till the low of June, we have just crossed the 23% fib, and that is the first time that it has done that in nearly 2 months. So it has not been able to produce any kind of good retracement for, again, a couple of months. So I like what that is doing. I want to make sure that we can close above this 23% fib, and then I'm going to look at just throwing buy positions in here, literally with hardly any kind of a good setup. I just want to buy into this thing, because I think the Aussie dollar is going to have a fairly easy time reaching 9,800. Fairly easy time. So that's what we want to watch for. It's what we want to look for. 9,800s are at least initial target, if not considerably higher, 9,950 and beyond. But 9,800 should be a good area to shoot for. So we're going to be looking for that, and I'll have some more details coming out on Twitter on where we're going to be buying into that. But I'm still very bullish Aussie dollar, and I think there's going to be some nice runs in the works there. Speaking of Aussie pairs, the Aussie yen, all the yen pairs seem to be finally doing a little bit of retracement now. The Aussie yen is starting to find its little short-term bottom here. Remember, on this bigger run up right here, from the low of April of last year, it had this big rally again of 3,000, 3,100 pips. It rallied up to the high of May, I think is where we got that high, April. And then it has come down a considerable amount, and it has been crossing. It crossed the 23% fib, the 38, and then it's reversing. It's bouncing like crazy off of this 50% fib, which is a fairly good area. You can see that 50% fib basically overlaps very nicely the high all the way back here of April of 2011. And we've got some highs that are just a little bit below that again in March of about 2012. So it kind of keeps peaking out at this area. So that's really great resistance, now turned support, and the 50% fib. So this is a good little bounce point. So we may be able to get a little bit on the upside on this Aussie yen. You can see a very bullish reversal candle right here, so this will be a great thing to start buying against. So what I'm going to be looking for on the Aussie yen most likely is just a little bit of retracement, a little bit of pullback here. Let's look for this thing to kind of top out just a little bit and start to retrace. We'll draw some fib levels in there. We'll be looking to get in either around that 23, if not 38% fib to get long on the Aussie yen. So we need to watch this thing pull back just a little bit and give us a little bit of a retracement before we do that. But I think that's going to be a great opportunity on this pair to get long. So I'm kind of just waiting for that. And as you can see, it has broken this kind of little descending trend line and is starting to work its way up there nicely. We have a missed daily pivot you can see back here on Thursday, which is another 300 pips, which for a yen pair we know that can happen in an hour or so. So that's going to be a nice upper target to start shooting for. But again, just on the very short term here, you can see that our we've got some fib levels up here, just not so far. So we should have some good opportunities to get long on that, but let's look for a little bit of pullback, and we want to get long against this low. So that's what we're looking for. Now, on the flip side, I'm not 100% convinced. The bounce that we're seeing right now may be longer lived. It might be shorter lived. It's just going to really depend. Now, a couple of things that I was looking for on the euro dollar and euro yen yesterday, which we did see play out fairly nicely, was we had this big hammer right here with a low of 126.15, and you can see that we ran down to that, bounced off nicely, and we actually hit that and bounced off it by 60 or 70 pips, and then ended up pushing through by a good little amount. So we got below that by 115 pips, and now we're creating another fairly massive hammer. Now, one thing that the euro yen has not yet done is it has not yet crossed from this big rally of all the yen pairs that we saw. It hasn't crossed the 23% fib, and in fact, it's bouncing quite a bit before this cross. And so we may actually end up with an opportunity to get long on the Aussie yen as well, and I'm kind of looking for a similar type thing here. I'm looking for this to pull back just a little bit and get long against this low. It broke above that level that was really good support initially, and has rallied pretty nicely above that. So I want to see a little bit of pullback here. I'm going to draw some fib levels on this little move, because again, this is a couple of hundred pips already, and about 250 pips, and may end up being a little bit more. So I'm going to draw some fib levels and look for opportunities to get long on the yen pairs against this low somewhere in this area. And the same thing will apply to the pound yen. So same kind of situation here. The pound yen, again looking for this this big hammer right here. Again, we're going to get the same type of situation. We push through that low of that hammer by about 100 pips or so. Now, the one slight difference here on the pound yen that we have not experienced on the euro yen yet is pound yen kind of looks like it's working on a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern, and it did peak below the 23% fib, which could start the bigger move down into the 38 and 50, which is 142, 137 targets. And so that's going to be good. But because of, once again, that big candle right there, I'm not going to fight the technicals on that one, so I'm going to be looking for some retracement and to get long against that area. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on the pound yen. Short-term trades are going to be a little bit challenging and tricky in this market. You can definitely count on that, but I think we do have some good setups in the works. So keep an eye on Twitter at DayTradersFX, and I will keep you updated on all of that, and we will just keep very close watch on yen pairs specifically right now, and the Aussie dollar. So that's where we are. We'll see you guys in the chat, and good luck, everyone.